Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Overnight into Friday, Russian forces launched another wave of drone attacks on Ukrainian cities. According to the Ukrainian military, around 80 Russian attack drones were launched, with 12 confirmed impacts recorded across the country. In the city of Pavlohrad, one person was killed and 4 others were injured as a result of the nighttime strike. Fires broke out in 5 private houses, one of which was completely destroyed as a result. Russian forces also once again targeted energy infrastructure in Odessa region. A strike hit a DTEC substation owned by Ukraine's largest private energy investor. This marks the 20th substation in the region to suffer serious damage. As a result of the attack, around 90,000 residents were temporarily left without electricity. In response, Ukrainian forces carried out a series of drone strikes inside Russia. Russia's defense ministry claimed that 90 Ukrainian drones were destroyed over 9 regions. In Yaroslavl, local media, citing residents, reported that drones targeted the Slavneft oil refinery. Witnesses say at least 7 explosions were heard over the city. Ukrainian monitoring channels also reported a strike on the facility itself. According to open-source data, the Yaroslavl oil refinery is among the 5 largest refineries in Russia by processing capacity. In Tver, local authorities said 7 people were injured when debris from a drone strike hit a residential apartment building during what they described as an air defense response. Meanwhile, in the city of Orsk, in Russia's Orenburg region, a major military-industrial facility is on fire. The Orsk mechanical plant, which manufactures artillery shell casings, was engulfed in flames. According to official data, the plant produces more than 50% of certain calibers of artillery shell casings manufactured in all of Russia. In addition, the facility produces components for multiple launch rocket systems, which Russian forces actively use in the war against Ukraine. Now, on the front line, Russian forces continue to hold most of the city of Pokrovsk and have advanced beyond the northern outskirts. At the same time, Ukrainian forces still retain the ability to enter the city, taking advantage of the dense urban layout and the relatively dispersed positioning of Russian units. Ukrainian troops on the ground report that Russian soldiers are infiltrating between Ukrainian positions near Shachove at the base of the Dobropilye salient. Ukrainian units have also released new footage of combat operations and a flag-raising action in central Pokrovsk. Geolocation analysis shows the video was filmed south of the railway line, in an area officially considered to be under Russian control. In the Zaporizhia sector, Ukrainian drone operators carried out a high-precision, multi-level attack on Russian air defense systems. In a single operation, suicide UAVs detected, approached and destroyed a Tor M1 missile system, as well as damaging another Tor M1 and the latest Buk M3 platform. The destruction of the Tor and the Buk systems is not just a tactical success. For the Russians, this is another blow to the air defense umbrella, which is already increasingly failing in the face of constant Ukrainian UAV attacks. Those who turned FPV drones into precision weapons were once again at work on the Ukrainian front lines. Fighters from the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade prepared a hot meal for the occupiers, two destroyed armor personnel carriers, which the Russians tried to camouflage and cover with anti-drone structures. This protection proved futile, however. The drones approached their target at an acute angle, bypassed the homemade barriers, and delivered direct hits to the combat vehicles, turning them into burning wreckage. Now, moving on to the next one. In the Pokrovsk axis, where fighting continues around the clock, Ukrainian tank crews are once again demonstrating why the Leopard 2A4 remains one of the most dangerous weapons on the battlefield. Working together with the infantry of the 155th Separate Mechanized Brigade, known as the Anna Kievska Brigade, the tank crew opened fire on a forest belt where Russian units were trying to gain a foothold and deploy firing positions. In the latest intercepted videos, Russian soldiers demonstrate the conditions in which they have to survive on the front line. Now, despite vociferous statements by the Russian Ministry of Defense about full provisioning, the occupiers continue to report a lack of basic necessities, including, believe it or not, drinking water. In trenches and dugouts, they are forced to use any available containers and sources, often unsuitable for human consumption. Such everyday scenes repeatedly destroy the myth of a well-equipped army that Moscow uses to cover up its own failures. In reality, Russian troops drink whatever they can, and they survive on these things that they can use. And it is not thanks to their commanders, but apparently in spite of them.
Собьем как можем, а там разберемся.
And again, stuff like that makes you think, why isn't discontent building up among the Russians themselves? I mean, these troops going there, some of them went for the money, some of them went because they were told to, but I mean, they have the capacity to think of their own. They are far away from Russia, and in between them, I'm assuming that some of them are talking to one another and saying, what are we even doing here? What is the point of all this? And naturally, there is cases where troops are falling into conflict with their own commanders. And this is not surprising. Yet, this whole build-up of discontent, possible rebellion, is very, very slow indeed, since Russia is not a democratic country at all. It is a country that is forcing their own citizens to go into this war and to face situations like these. And as we have already seen on multiple occasions, the rewards for all this are limited at best. And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.